They told us we had time. They said humanity would find a way. But on December 19th, 2025, at exactly 3:47 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the world learned the truth. An asteroid designated KR 2025, nearly 2 kilometers wide, was on a collision course with Earth. And we had 72 hours left. This is the story of humanity's final days, a fictional account of what those last hours might look like. When the world realized that no technology, no prayer, and no miracle could stop what was coming, the clock had started, and it would not stop. The first to know were the astronomers. A routine scan by the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii detected an anomaly. What seemed like a distant rock suddenly changed trajectory after passing near Jupiter's gravitational field.
That can't be right. It's on a collision course.
Within 6 hours, every major space agency confirmed it. The asteroid wasn't just close. It was locked on a direct path toward Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Sarah Chen, NASA's Planetary Defense Coordinator, stood before the United Nations Security Council. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled as she displayed the simulation.
It's worse than we thought.
The asteroid will enter our atmosphere at approximately 47,000 kilometers per hour. Upon impact, it will release energy equivalent to 50,000 nuclear weapons. The impact zone is projected to be the North Atlantic Ocean, roughly 800 kilometers off the coast of Portugal. She continued, the initial impact will create a crater 30 kilometers wide. Tsunamis exceeding 300 meters in height will devastate coastal regions across 3 continents within hours. The thermal pulse will ignite fires across Europe and the eastern United States. An ambassador from Brazil raised his hand, his voice breaking. What about evacuation? What about the defense systems? Dr. Chen looked down. There is no evacuation zone large enough. Our missile systems were designed for objects a fraction of this size. Even if we launched every nuclear weapon on Earth, we lacked the time and precision to deflect it. The room fell silent. Within 30 minutes, the announcement went public. Every news channel, every radio station, every phone on the planet received the same message. Panic didn't arrive slowly. It erupted.
In approximately 72 hours, global preparations are underway.
In New York City, the stock market crashed within minutes. Trading floors emptied as brokers abandoned their posts. Money had lost all meaning. In Tokyo, millions flooded the streets, attempting to reach loved ones. Trains were packed beyond capacity. Highways became parking lots of abandoned vehicles. In London, crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace, not in protest, but in silence. Thousands stood together, waiting for words that would never come. Supermarkets were ransacked, not out of hope for survival, but out of instinct. Shelves emptied in hours. Fights broke out over bottled water and canned food that would make no difference in 3 days. Governments declared martial law, but enforcement was impossible. Police officers left their post to be with family. Soldiers deserted bases to return home. Airports became war zones. Private jets were hijacked. Commercial flights were overbooked 50 times over. Where could anyone go? Nowhere on Earth would be safe. Some flew south, hoping distance from the impact would buy time. Others fled to remote mountains, clinging to the irrational belief that altitude might protect them. But deep down, everyone knew. Not everyone ran. In small towns and quiet neighborhoods, families gathered. Parents held their children. Strangers knocked on doors, no longer alone. A father in Ohio sat on his porch with his daughter, watching the sunset. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. A couple in Philippines, married for 50 years, held hands in their kitchen, listening to old songs on a battery-powered radio. Across the world, people made the same choice. If the end was inevitable, they would face it together. 48 hours remained. Astronomers continued tracking KR 2025, not because they could change anything, but because humanity needed to know. Live feeds showed the asteroid growing larger in telescopes, a dark sphere against the stars, silent and unstoppable. Seen. Religious gatherings packed churches and temples. Churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues overflowed. Believers and non-believers alike sought comfort in faith. Prayers were whispered in 1,000 languages. In Vatican City, the Pope addressed a crowd of millions, his voice carried across every platform. We do not know what lies beyond this moment, but we know this. We have loved, we have created, we have been human, and that will never be erased. Some refused to give up. In a laboratory in Geneva, a team of scientists worked frantically on a final desperate theory. If they could destabilize the asteroid's core using a precisely timed nuclear detonation, perhaps they could break it into smaller fragments. But the math was unforgiving. Even smaller fragments would still cause catastrophic damage, and there wasn't enough time to coordinate the launch. At 11:34 p.m., the project leader shut down the computers. He looked at his team and nodded. They had tried. Across the world, people recorded messages, videos for no one, letters that would never be read, last words saved to hard drives that would be vaporized in hours. A teacher in Brazil recorded lessons, hoping somehow knowledge would survive. A musician in Vienna played one final symphony, streaming it live until the connection failed. A girl in Mumbai wrote in her diary, ending with the words, "I wish I had more time." Time, the one thing no one could buy, beg, or borrow. 24 hours remained. The chaos had subsided. There was nowhere left to run, nothing left to take. Humanity stood still. In cities across the world, people gathered on rooftops, beaches, and hilltops. They wanted to see the sky, to witness the end. Screens in Times Square, Shibuya Crossing, Piccadilly Circus, all displayed the same thing, a countdown. News anchors stayed at their desks, broadcasting until the end. Some read scripted farewells, others simply sat in silence, staring into the camera. One anchor in Australia smiled and said,
"From the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me share your mornings all these years. I'm endlessly grateful and truly honored."
The asteroid was now visible to the naked eye, a faint dot growing brighter each hour. Astronomers provided live commentary, their voices calm, almost peaceful. KR 2025 is now passing the moon's orbit. Estimated impact in 12 hours. A park in Cairo. Thousands gathered, singing together. A beach in California. Bonfires lit, people dancing. A village in Kenya. Elders telling stories to children, keeping their attention away from the sky. Humanity had no more borders, no more enemies, only each other. And as the final hours approached, something unexpected happened. The fear faded. People stopped crying, stopped running. They simply existed. A man stood alone on a bridge in Prague, watching the river. He smiled. A woman in Delhi closed her eyes, feeling the wind. Humanity had fought until the end. And now it rested. 1 hour. The asteroid was now visible, a burning bright streak across the sky, growing larger by the second. People held hands, closed their eyes, whispered goodbyes. At 3:47 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, KR 2025 entered Earth's atmosphere. The sky turned white. A sonic boom echoed across continents. And then, the asteroid struck the ocean. The impact was instant. A flash of light brighter than the sun. The water vaporized on contact, creating a superheated shockwave that expanded at hypersonic speed. Within seconds, the shockwave reached coastlines. Cities vanished in an instant. Mountains shattered. The very crust of the Earth fractured. Tsunamis, impossibly tall, raced across the Atlantic. 300 meters of water moving faster than sound. The thermal pulse ignited the atmosphere. Fires erupted across Europe, Africa, and the Americas. And within 15 minutes, the shockwave had circled the globe. And then, there was nothing. No voices, no signals, no lights. Earth fell silent. From space, the planet looked different, shrouded in ash and smoke, scarred by fire, but still turning. Life as humanity knew it had ended, but the Earth remained. Someday, millions of years from now, new life might rise. New stories might be told. But this story, our story, had reached its final hour. This story is a work of fiction. KR 2025 does not exist. But asteroids do. And one day, this could be real. The question is, will we be ready? This has been Final Hour Stories. Subscribe for more cinematic what-if scenarios. And remember, every hour we have is a gift.